Hey everybody. Today we are going to be talking about the writing process. By now, all of you will have completed, hopefully, your rough draft for your narrative writing assignment. In many cases, you wrote a story from the prompt. I woke up this morning and I couldn't believe what I saw. Taking that initial prompt and turning that into a rough draft is actually one of a series of steps towards getting to the end of these papers. So I want to go ahead and talk through a few of these steps so we can move on to the next step. We've now done what we might consider the draft. And as you can see here, there's a pre-writing step that actually precedes drafting that many of you, while you may not have done it, writing it down on taking, say, pencil to paper or typing it on your screen, you would have at least asked these questions, hopefully mentally. Getting past these two steps, what we're going to be working on today is what's known as revising. And while oftentimes people will use the terms editing and revising interchangeably, we'll see that they're actually quite different when they're used in this way in the writing process. So by now, if we've gotten done with our first draft, you've asked yourself in the pre-writing stage, for instance, there's such questions as, what do I want to say? How do I want to say that? Who's going to be reading it? Who can I talk to about my ideas? Maybe give me some ideas, run ideas past people. In your initial draft, you're kind of thinking to yourself, are these organized? What ideas do I want to develop as I'm writing them down? What kind of order do I want to say them? Right? That's a very important question to ask yourself, particularly when we're writing a narrative such as this. And again, who can read this and offer me some suggestions? Take advantage of that when you can. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more, the peer revision aspect of the writing process. Today, we're going to be talking about how we're revising those initial drafts. Talking about questions like, have I read what I've written? Have I gone back and reread it? I hope you have. You're going to have to do that for the next step. Hopefully, you've kind of done that as you're going through each of these steps as it is. Asking yourself things like, are my details clear? Should I add something or take something out? Have I used the best possible ideas I could or the best words I could use? Is my writing in an order that makes sense? And once again, of course, what suggestions have others made that can improve my writing? On that note, let's look at today's assignment for revision. We're going to talk about how you can use revising to add detail to your writing. So what I want you to do today is just take one part of the draft that you've written, maybe like a paragraph, possibly two paragraphs, one event, as I listed it here. And so you want to take that and copy and paste that from your original draft and put it in this box. Then I want you to talk about some adjectives that describe that event using your five senses. This will add detail to your story in a way that's very noticeable. Strong writers do this often, sometimes without realizing that they're doing it. But here we're going to explicitly go out of our way to try to do that. So as a reminder, adjectives are words that describe nouns. So you're using these adjectives that would describe, using the five senses, how the particular event, how it looks, how it sounds, how it feels, how it smells, how it tastes. Obviously, some of those get a little more challenging. For instance, sometimes when you're setting up your story, some of you had very strong introductions. They could be even stronger when you use adjectives that appeal to the five senses in this way. You'll get some really rich language, and this can spice up your writing in noticeable ways and add a lot of really noticeable and palpable detail. So once you've got, I want you to maybe try to get, if you can, 3 different adjectives for each one of those senses. Some might be harder than others. If you can get at least one for tastes and smells. But I think in many ways, looks and sounds and feels, those are sorts of things you can definitely add to. It doesn't have to be your introduction. Like I said, one paragraph or one particular